Hello, my bookish friends and fellow bookworms. If you're from Bookworms, let me know. Like my comment down below. I want to know how many of you have come to watch my September wrap-up / Haunted Library event wrap-up. I know many of you participated in this as well. I only read one physical book this month, and I'm trying to read more of most of my bookshelf has not been read, but instead I keep reading digital books and borrowing things and stuff like that because I am a genius. Anyway, let's delve right into that. The first book I read this month was Ever After by Olivia Vuewig. That book I actually received as an e-arc or a something like that on NetGalley, and I got to review that. I was approved for it. I believe a few other people in the leadership team on Bookworms were also approved and reviewed it. I thought it was okay. I don't think the translation for it did as much justice as it could have. I believe it was originally written in German. It was a graphic novel. The art was really cool. I just wish there was a little bit more to the story itself, because you saw some things going on and a lot of it didn't really make sense to me, and that's why I think it was kind of a translation thing, kind of a story thing. I feel like it was a little bit of both there. I believe I gave that one 3 stars. Okay, so I did give that one 3 stars. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. It does like kind of pull at your heartstrings and stuff like that, but just doesn't really fully envelop you because you kind of can't understand what's going on. The next book I read in September is The Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg. I gave that one 5 stars. It was really interesting. It was a little bit shorter than most science fiction or even young adult novels and things like that, so it was a pretty quick read for me anyway. I know it takes some other people a while to read books, but anyway, it really explored what it means to be human and the definition of humanity, and like what's perfect on the surface is most likely not perfect underneath that surface. I really enjoyed the main character's view because she's a hybrid, so she's a humanoid android robot with organic material and inorganic material, and she is starting to essentially feel emotions and everything, and she lives in the kingdom, which is essentially like an amusement park, Disneyland-esque place where they have the hybrids, including like extinct animals that they brought back to life with their hybrid technology. So it's kind of interesting to see how that all plays out and how Anna learns like the difference between humanity and choices and things like that, and on top of the choices that other people around her make, whether they're hybrid or they're a real person. I would have loved to see more of the way the system works and the way people outside of the kingdom in the normal world think of the kingdom, other than when they're there already, because, you know, if you're paying that much money to get in the park, you support it at least a little bit, at least until maybe you learn more about it. But everything tied up really well in the end, and honestly, I could read a sequel or even a companion novel just to learn more because I really enjoyed it. The third book I read is the first volume of Heartstopper, which is a graphic novel by Alice Osman, and she's a really popular author. She's really good with emotions and things like that, and she actually drew this book as well as writing the story for the book, and her characters are from some of her other novels. I unfortunately haven't read those yet, but I do plan to. I gave this 5 stars because I thought about it so much after reading, and I don't know how to get my hands on the second and third volumes without buying them yet, because I don't like to pirate books or anything. I mean, I don't judge you if you do, it's just not my cup of tea, and my library only has the first volume. So, I might end up buying them if I can't convince the library to get more ebook versions of the other two, because I haven't been able to go in person and borrow books and, you know, all that sorts of stuff. Anyway, this book is so cute, first of all. Like, I love, cutesy little romance novels. It is boy and boy romance. So, if you're not into that, sorry. I think it's really cute, and I'm pretty sure you would enjoy it regardless, but there's just a lot of different emotions, Alice Osman's really good at that. She's really good at bringing her characters to life with just text, and having the pictures along with her writing is it's just immaculate. I'll tell you, I 100% 5 stars. I want to read it again. I need to borrow it. The next book I read is Planck's Law by Leslie Choice. I was actually going to read this book over the summer, but I didn't get a chance to because I was reading other books that also weren't on my TBR, but whatever. It was pretty good, but I thought it was a little bland. Like, the story is there, it's just really kind of choppy, and there's not as much detail for some parts you think would have detail, as opposed to parts that do. I gave it 3 stars. It's about a boy who knows he has Huntington's disease when he's 10 years old, and at 16, he is told he only has a year to live. There's a man named Planck that he meets, and his law is that you should essentially live your life no matter if you're gonna be alive the next day or anything. So he starts doing things on his bucket list and whatever, and he meets a girl named Sarah who has cancer, and their story spirals and everything, but just some of it felt really out of place, and like brought up and then not brought up, and his friend was all over the place, and I don't know, it was good. I could recommend it, but I feel like you could spend your time on something with more to it and more that feels more complete. After that, I finally got a hold of Felix Ever After by Casein Calendar, and that was really good. I gave it 4 stars because the ending left me feeling a little unsatisfied, if I'm honest. The whole book was really good, but the end just felt strange and kind of choppy, like really fast compared to the rest of the novel. So, in general, the whole thing was amazing. I loved the representation. It's an own voices novel with transgender main character, as well as the author being transgender. It's always nice to get views from people who experience those things directly, so that you can know that it's their truthful view at it, rather than someone else who doesn't know as much writing it. Not saying that they can't, they just might not get certain things quite right, so it was really nice to be able to read that novel. I definitely recommend it if you're trying to find own voices, or just books with transgender, or any sort of novel like that, and it is kind of a cute little love story-ish novel on the side. The next novel I read is one that I actually read for a book vlog I'm doing, where I read my friend's favorite books, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's Here Lies Daniel Tate, which is a murder thriller mystery book. A kid impersonates another missing kid named Daniel Tate, and integrates into his family, and chaos ensues, and I gave that one 4 stars, but I'll talk about that more in my book vlog where I judge my friend's books, so be on the lookout for that. Same with If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. That's another murder thriller mystery, but it's dark academia filled with Shakespeare references. I talk about that one more in my book vlog that I'm working on as well, so definitely be on the lookout for that, because a few of my September books will be in there. The second to last book that I finished this month is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This book, the best way to describe it is like watching a flower bloom. There was some plot to it, but I just felt it was almost more like an observation into things coming to fruition rather than a full-on adventure or anything like that. It is a fantasy. It's about a girl who is taken by the witch because every year the little town in the forest, in the bog, leaves a baby in the forest, and the witch takes them to the other cities on the other side to be adopted. And instead of feeding this girl Starlight, she fed her Moonlight, so she becomes enmagicked. She stops her magic from coming out for a while so that she can learn how to be a human being and take care of herself and not just have magic everywhere. But there's also a guy in the village who's like, no one's taking my baby, I'm gonna go kill this witch. Obviously, chaos ensues, things come out, the truth comes out in different ways and whatnot. And there's a volcano that's about to explode. So, you know, lots of different things going on, and they all kind of come together at the end and, like, flower out into the ending. That's the best way I can think to explain it. So if you want something with lots of plot and movement and action, don't recommend this. But if you want something that's just kind of has a lot of good lines, it's really pretty, and it has a lot of good lessons, I would definitely recommend this. I gave it 4 stars just because I felt like a little more kind of happened, but maybe I'm missing something. And the last book that I finished for September is Avatar: The Last Airbender graphic novel, The Promise, and it's the whole volume for that rather than individually. It's about right after the end of the Avatar series, much before Legend of Korra, and Fire Lord Zuko and Earth King Kuei are essentially about to start war because there's still colonies of Fire Kingdom people in the Earth Kingdom, but they've been there for over a century now, so it's kind of their home too, and some of the Earth Kingdom people and the Fire Nation people have integrated a lot. So there's the Avatar's trying to find the right solution and what he should do, and Zuko's trying to protect his people as well as the Earth Kingdom, and then there's even smaller groups inside, like the rebels and things like that, and everyone's fighting each other and things like that. And of course I gave it 4 stars because anything that has to do with the Avatar is amazing, except for the movie that doesn't exist. And that's it for my September reads. I did start reading Where Dreams Descend, but I'm only about 2 or 3 chapters into this, so it's definitely going to be heavily October. And I'm gonna read some other spooky books like Mexican Gothic and Cinderella is Dead during October. I'm really excited for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Tell me if you've read any of these books down below. Tell me your thoughts. I would love to hear them. Like, seriously, I love knowing what other people think about the books that I've read, just to see if there's something I've missed or if we can, you know, fangirl about it together or something. But yeah, I'm working on my book vlog. That will probably be the next video that I upload, unless I figure out something else or take forever to read Skullduggery Pleasant. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys soon. Happy reading!